Dinomorphia and Horus. Yeah, those are the top 16 challengers I like to see out of my regionals. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Well, let's see here. What is the biggest interesting factor about this regional? Well, it's probably Flu, because Flu ended up kind of surprising everybody out here with a shocking little twist of the meta out here, going, hey, you know, we can do something. And I'm not all that surprised. I mean, like, this deck in certain regional grinds kind of just surpasses a lot of the expectations that I feel like people are kind of used to seeing out here. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the Flu list from this event, but things I can tell you about Flu for this. Flu ended up winning the regional, which is actually kind of nice to see. And then on the back end of things here, we had two voiceless voice duelists actually kind of stepping on into the light here in showcasing, hey, you know, we can actually do something. I'm just kidding. Voiceless Voice is like the third best deck in the room right now, honestly. And of course, you had to have the best challengers in the room. You had two Snake Eyes and one pure Snake Eyes variant in your top cut. That feels pretty much like the normal day out here. And then we had a branded list showing up out of your top cut. So to be honest with you, most of your top 8 is pretty standard, you know. But the thing that caught my attention was the Dinomorphia deck and a Horus control deck that actually made their way into top 16. Now, you got to remember, when you're in the top 16 bracket, you're looking at like 6-2, you know, 7-2 records. And I think just seeing that these challengers are really able to kind of climb up to these levels, and they miss it just by a little bit, doesn't count them out of being decks to kind of challenge the meta. Now let's pass on over to deck list. All right, our first deck we're going to be looking at here is, guess what? It's Voiceless Voice. Now, this isn't the little branded build that's been kind of making its way. I do want to give a shout out to the duelists out here that have been playing the branded build of this deck, because it does leave a little bit more to be desired. Because, you know, you don't get locked and you're like, well, you know, instead of just ending on like Skull Guardian with like, well, the Novox, or, you know, aka the Dynamondo, the ability to rotate as soon as you're able to here, I will say that, yeah, it does leave a wee little bit of room. That's why people do try the brand package in the deck, because they're like, hey, you know, we can use all of this extra dead space to be able to kind of set up and do something else. And the big thing with this build is still doing the double Sarvis. You've got a lot of people that will try to get a little bit cheeky, and they'll be like, hey, you know, let's play the On Eyes. You can. I mean, you're not going to get the best results for it in the TCG, because Sarvis is just inherently the better card. Now, we've also been noticing a lot more of these builds have been pushing for the Bice Deals in the side deck. You want to guess why? It's maybe because the Bice Deals are stupid good cards, and they give them the ability to control, you know, this matchup. All right, being able to start taking down lows as your opponent puts them in the graveyard. A little bit of a good thing for this deck. Outside of that, I mean, the rest of this build feels very standardized. 42 has been a pretty normal number for this deck. All right. Oh, hello, Brandon. How are you? I do see that we are playing Ye Old Fusion Duplication in here. This has been kind of hit or miss with a lot of duelists, and I can understand why, because you do have to get down the branded fusion. But if your opponent ashes the branded fusion, you do have the duplication, you're just off to the races. Like that. That's literally all you can see. I also see that we are playing the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare in here, as you should be, the ability to hand this on over to your opponent so you can play the game. Very, very strong. I also see, hey, hello, Necroworld Banshee. Hello, Zombie World. Who doesn't love the fact that you can drop down a Necroworld Banshee off of a brand fusion and then go, okay, well, let's go ahead and make everything, you know, zombie, and those pesky Flu players aren't going to be able to do anything. Like, that's basically what you want to be seeing with a build like this. Most of your extra deck, there's nothing in here that I would say is too crazy. And you're doing one talent's triple thrust in the Mania. That's pretty normal at this point. We are doing double Quem with the double Blazing Cartesia, and of course the one Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. We are doing the Maximus with the triple Nadir servant stuff. I know a lot of people don't really like this too much, but to be honest with you, I think this does give you some pretty strong options. Like, don't underestimate, being able to have extra deck dropping methods so that you can start kind of choosing the win. Okay. Oh, man. Finally. Okay, well, first of all, this is actually really cool. I am very happy to see that we are playing Lullaby of Obedience in this deck, all right? We do like Lullaby, all right? Especially if you're going into a regional in this format and you're like, all right, so I'm playing Fire. I decided to spend the $1,200. Yeah. You know what you're going to be walking into. So you're going to make some decisions to probably opt to play Lullaby. And that's because, declaring a Snake Eyes Pobbler, oh, hey, thanks, I'll go ahead and special summon this now. Now it kind of changes, your perception of things. Now your opponent's down a Pobbler, and now, life is looking a little bit better for you here. You were also playing the one Divine Temple, which is the good stuff. Post side decking, this is interesting. I see that we do have the additional Droll because we are main decking the 2. We are doing 2 Ghost Mourners with siding the 3rd as well. So once again, you do see that 5 Veiler scenario out here. So one of the big things that we were kind of looking at with this format is, it's all just kind of hand traps. If you can out hand trap the Fire player, you're probably going to be in a good position. That's why decks like this are kind of focusing on things like, hey, having the Mourners, the Veilers not being once per turn is literally one of the craziest things that this deck could actually ever have going for it. So, outside of that, yay, Fire! Oh, ooh, what in the, hey, this is our Horus pile. Now, the things that will catch your attention here are, really? 3 big balls in the main deck? Yes, actually. This deck needs this. Like, well, what normal summon do you really care about in here? Like, special summon Fenrir? Okay. Go ahead and do all of these. Oh, no, my big ball took up my normal summon. Gosh darn it. The Vision Resonator that you play is a free special summon extender. Like, who cares? Now, this is really cool. We're actually playing 1 copy of Vanguard, the Underground Emperor. And if a monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard while this card is in the graveyard, except during damage step, you can special summon this card but place it in the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. So what happens if we use this guy as an Exceed material? Well, it didn't leave the field. So that means that during the next turn, you'll be able to have Vanguard spawn back out of the graveyard. This is just another good classic example of, oh, I opened this card and the gold sarcophagus? Oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and have Mr. Vanguard revive itself. I also like the fact that this deck is playing like a 3 mini package for this. Like, you're just playing 2 Vision Resonator with the 1 Crimson Gaia, just on the off chance that you're like, hey, I can actually see this. Now we can kind of set up and do some synchro lines. Okay. And, Dinomorphia? Wait a minute. Debunk. Really? I have not seen Debunk show up since very older formats, actually. And I will say that this is actually kind of a nice fresh of air just to, do its thing. Monster Figs activate in the hand or graveyard, negate that activation and do banish it. Nice Promethean Princess. Okay, you're really trying to do this? We'll just go ahead and debunk. Like, in a world where you can set debunk with, all of your Dinomorphia stuff on the side, they try to Promethean Princess Rexstrom. You're like, no. We'll just go ahead and debunk that. And same thing with the Garunix and things like that as well in the graveyard. This card does feel actually incredibly powerful. You're not doing misc plays or any of that. I also see... yes, we've enjoyed Deck Lockdown this format. Like, Deck Lockdown has been one of my favorite tech choices that we've been seeing these side decks actually kind of pushing towards right now. And you literally lock your opponent out of these options to be able to play the game. And it's actually pretty good. And of course, this deck can safely play Shifter. Oh no, you might miss a Kingrina or something, but the whole purpose of the Shifter is kind of get the game back to your turn. Or, you can Shifter during turn 1, your opponent is forced to pass, and then it comes back to your turn. You're like, all right, cool. Now we can set up. seems kind of worth it to me. But outside of that, this is good stuff. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.